Hey, welcome to the Cat in the Cardboard Box. I am the cat, and this is the box. Today's Tuesday, which means it's Smartsy Artsy Alley, and as I promised, I'm going to continue on with my golden sheep project. If you don't know what I'm talking about, link below, or just go to my last Tuesday video, and it will be explained there. I feel like explaining it again, sorry. Anyways, I think it's awesome. My teacher thinks it's awesome, which I don't really care, because, that teacher. But anyways, I went to the museum that I explained earlier. Those are the sheep that I drew and sketched. And I also wrote up like a timeline kind of for the sheep and like how they evolved from regular sheep. So I'll just kind of like I'll kind of just like quick go through it with you, okay? So first, we start out what I call the domestic sheep. The domestic sheep are what we have right now, are just fluffy, happy sheep, or mountain sheep was what I drew, but that's more of what the golden sheep look like. They look like, anyways. Okay, so domestic sheep, stage one. Long time ago, this anonymous alchemist, up in a forest in Canada somewhere, decided to do some research and tests on sheep, and made sheep with little tips of gold on their wool. We don't know how this happened, but it happened. I call these sheep the pre-gold generation. So now we have these sheep with the golden tipped wool, and farmers are like, wow, this is so awesome. So they start breeding these sheep until like years and years later, they're actually sheep with fully golden wool. And it's still wool. It's kind of probably scratchy, like one of those scratchy, I don't remember what they're called, but they're like things you use to like scrub dishes and scrub stuff off, and they're like really uncomfortable to like hold and stuff. One of those things. That's what the texture is for their wool now. Those sheep I call Golden Generation 1. Okay, so all is well until these sheep are all in Canada still, but some Golden Generation 1s are stolen and brought to Montana, and soon those Montanian sheep are bred and sold throughout the U.S. until they're like big thing, sheep everywhere. And inevitably, some sheep end up getting free and end up in the wild. And this happens primarily in Wyoming. Incident happened, sheep are everywhere kind of thing. So Gold Generation 1 starts to adapt to being in the wild. We still have Gold Generation 1, but now that they're adapting to the wild, they're starting to have natural selection happen, and there are two different types of sheep that come off of Generation 1. Golden Generation 2A and Golden Generation 2B. In general, Golden Generation 2 sheep are bigger, with more muscles and longer legs, so then they can run faster away from predators, and bigger ears, so then they can hear, not that big, but still like just made for actual like defense, because before they were protected by fences and people, but now they're not, so they need to be a little more defensive. The wool gets a little bit harder and it concentrates in their torso area. So then, because it's heavier, but they still need to like be able to escape and stuff. So there's less wool on them. So then it doesn't weigh them down. Ultimately, the Golden Generation 2 is about defense. They will like run if they feel threatened. Now, the difference between, let's just say, GG2A and GG2B is that GG2A thrive in western sandy areas, more kind of by like Wyoming and south area, because their wool, the color helps them camouflage in the sandyish dry areas. And GG2B move back up to like Montana and Canada-ish and work and live in the mountains, but that species kind of ends up dying off pretty quickly because the wool is so heavy by now for protection that they all kind of just fall off cliffs. So we're left with GG2A. GG2A becomes like a target for capture because people are like, wow, this wool is even better than our sheep's wool. Why not just capture these guys and take the gold off of them? So again, GG2A needs to be able to evolve from natural selection to have better defense against the people who want to capture them. So their back hooves become a little larger, and flatter because of the sandy areas that they live in. And the front hooves become a little bit longer, so then if they need to, they can claw at you. And even canines start coming in on some of the sheep's teeth, just for like an extra edge. And again, the wool becomes even harder and heavier, but it becomes hollow and a little bit straighter. And of course, I call this GG3, Golden Generation 3. And these guys will actually charge if feeling threatened. And lastly, the gold on the sheep is now really hard to get off of the sheep without hurting it or basically killing it, because it's attached to the skin and you can't just shave it because it's really hard and heavy. So people just find that hunting the sheep are easier, so you're not like torturing it when you're ripping out the gold and stuff, So Golden Generation 3 has to evolve one more time, so then they can get away from hunters, because hunters try a little bit harder than people who just want to capture the sheep and then let them go again. So these guys become even bigger, even badder. The wool becomes like more straight, like quills, like hollow, sharp, just like a porcupine. Even like they stick out, not as much as a porcupine, but like everyone's hair sticks up on end when they freak out. And these guys, their hair sticks up on end too, but since it's so heavy, it doesn't stick up all the way, so they're not just like big spikes, but enough that you can tell when they're not happy. And basically that's it. And these are called the modern golden sheep. Like I talked about earlier, and MGS is basically, with the quills, basically bigger, badder, and angrier. They will charge at anything that moves. And their saliva actually gets a little bit acidic. In the story, the guy who warns Psyche about the sheep mentions that they have a venomous bite. So I thought I'd have to add this in. So their bite, it's not venomous. It's just more acidic because now it's prone to eating meat. Not as a usual diet. These sheep still like to eat grass and leaves and stuff, but if someone pisses them off and they attack and they're feeling hungry, they pretty much just go, well, might as well eat, and then eat your face off. If you guys have any like suggestions on making this better, just put that in the comments. Yep. So if I don't see you soon, I promise I'll see you later. Bye.
Hey guys, so I'm here at the Film Museum, working on my project. I have to talk really loud or quiet because There are a couple of groups of little kids walking around here and learning about stuff about animals and stuff, so, yep. There's my sheep. There's more stuff. There's a sheep skull.